Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala rasulihil kareem. So last time we had the contradictory, which is called what in Arabic? Tanaqud. And we had tadakhul, which is called what? Subaltern. And so the tanaqud goes like this on the square of opposition, and subaltern goes down like this. Now we have contrary and subcontrary. How does it work? The contrary. What does contrary mean? That you have two statements, and the relationship is such that only one can be true. If one is true, the other has to be false. But it's also possible that both are false. You following? In Tana, yes. So what's the relationship? Between these two, both can't be true. One can be true. But it's possible that both are not. Yes. You following? It's called tadad. So for example, all students in this class are hardworking. So what can't be true as well?
Some students are not hardworking.
No students are hardworking. So
The E and the O.
it goes across like this. These are tadad. The top one. You following? So if you look at it, no students in this class are hardworking. So both can't be true. If one is true, the other has to be false. So basically, if you look at tadad, contrary and contradiction, the A and the E and the A and the O, they both kind of have opposite meaning. Each one of these will prove that if you have an A proposition, for example, all students in the class are hardworking. What's the contrary of this? The contrary?
The O. E.
The contrary. The E. And the contradictory? The A, E, I, the O. The bottom one. The contradictory is the O. So the difference is that when you have the contradictory, one is true and one is false. So for example, if you have students, I have sons, and we have tall and short, or you have I don't know, adult and over 16, under 16. So if all are over 16, then some can't be over 16. And if some are over 16, all can't be over 16. But one of the two has to be true when you have the link. Yes, in those two. And in here, in contrary, it's talking about what? Both can't be true, but both can be false.
The E, the A and E, how come?
Let me give an example. If you have all are hardworking, none are hardworking, it can't be true, both of them. But it's possible that some are hardworking.
But isn't some hardworking all students? Isn't some and all? Isn't the first and the third one not contradictory?
Hmm?
Isn't the third one basically the first one and the third?
I don't get this again.
So if you say all students in the first.
So this is the A proposition, yes? This is the E proposition. And what is this proposition?
I.
This is the I.
The I is so the I and the A don't contradict.
Hmm?
The I and the A don't contradict.
Yeah, so we're saying, but both are, so this is the third proposition. So when we say all are hardworking, it doesn't mean, it doesn't mean both are false. You can also have, okay, some are not. Even the O could be possible as well. Some are, some are not. These two can't go together. It can't be both of them. But it could be the I and the O can be as well.
But the A and E can both be false.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like all of you are hardworking, none of you are hardworking. So you can't both. And some of you are hardworking, some of you not. You get third option. So contrary and contradictory is different. When you're asking last time, and that's why it's coming up. You said A and the E. You asked that question last time. So when you have the A, E, and the A and the O, and those are what? Contradictory. And the A and the E are contrary. You understand?
Why can't the A and E be why can't that be contradiction?
Because if you look at it, because the A and the E, why is not contrary?
Contradiction.
Because because in contradiction it means the way to define it, the contrary is that both can be false, and the contradictory you don't have that condition. You don't define the contradiction that both can be false.
But like with this one, the only reason the A is false is because the information we're given is wrong. We're given is wrong.
No, what we're saying here, we don't know. We don't know about A or E. But we're saying that if one is true, the other has to be false. If A is true, E is false. If E is true, A is false. Both can't be true. And it's also possible both are false.
But that's the same with A and O. Both of them can still be false.
Both can be false in A and O. All students in the class are hardworking. And what's the O of that proposition?
Some students in this class are not hardworking.
Yeah.
But then
both can't be false. If you have students and if the students and hardworking exists, if all or some are not, it's one has to be true. Both can't be false. Has to be one of them.
All
Yes. Huh?
What if all
There's some are, some are not. And the O is true then. You get it?
Okay, so contrary is when one.
Both can be false. Both can be false. And contradictory is, well, one has to, with one of the, either one of them. And that kind of boils down, we'll come that later on, with false dichotomy, we do that later on in informal, in Shartiyya. But you understand here? So contradictory and contrary, different between them. So contradictory is tanaqud, and contrary is tadad. And tadad and contrary means both can be false. Yeah? So why both can't be true? Because if we say students in the class are hardworking people, this is what? An A proposition. All students in the class are hardworking, so all fall in here, innit? And if we say none, so none fall in here, so it doesn't make sense. You get it? So we're putting all the students in this category, and if we say no students fall in this category, so the A and the E both can't be true. But you can have the third possibility, some are in here and some are in here. You get it? That's why the A and the E are what? Contrary. So for example, all Muslims are people who give zakat or give charity, and no Muslims give charity. It can't both be true. If all give, then that means that it can't be that no Muslims give. Do you understand? And if you say all Muslim people give charity, then automatically what's going to be false? What's true as well?
The I is true, and the O is false.
Yeah, the I is true as subalternation, and the O is false. Do you understand? Okay. Now subcontrary. What's subcontrary? So in here we have the two top ones, in it. And subcontrary is with two bottom ones. What does that mean? So in contrary, both can't be true, but both can be false. And in subcontrary is only both can be true, but only one can be false. Both can be true. In contrary, what can happen? Both can't be true, but both can be false. And in subcontrary, both can be true, but both can't be false. For example, look, this is called dakhil fi tadad.
So in the top one,
In contrary.
Yeah, in contrary, only one
can be true.
Only one or less than one can be true.
But if it's less than two, less than one is zero is true.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, one or less than one is zero. Zero is true. Both are false. Yeah.
In this one has to be true or more.
Yeah. Two. Yes. One or more has to be true. So, for example, some students are women. Yes. Is it also possible that some students are not women?
Yeah.
So both can be true, but both can't be false. You can't say some. If you have students who are women, it can't be some are not and some are at the same time. You can't say that. You can't say. Yeah, both are false. That some students are not. There's no students are women and some students are women. It can't be true at the same time. Are you following? If the subject and predicate exist together, then you can't have some are and some are not, and both are false.
No, but
because what happens is basically we're saying here some are women, so we're saying here this is false and this is false. So women don't exist anywhere in the thing. Say both are false, so you can't have both are false in this one. Are you following me? Yes. So both can be true, that women exist in students and some are not students. Or you can have men who are students. But you can't have, so in subcontrary, both can't be false. Both can be true, but both can't be false. You got it? So let's have a look. So here, the contrary, so this is the contrary, this is subcontrary. You got it? Let's do one example. Any questions? Let's do the example here. Let's summarize first. So what's this here? What do we have here in front of us? What do you have here in front of us? The table of the square of opposition. So you have the A, the E, the I, and the O. A is what? Mujiba kulliya, affirmative, universal. The E is the negative universal. The I is the affirmative particular, and the O is the negative particular. Mujiba saliba juz'iyya. Yes? Then within distribution. Well, it doesn't come up in direct inference, it comes up. These are these tables. So in what's distributed? In the A, the S is distributed. In the top ones, in the kulli, what's distributed? The subject. And in the saliba, what's distributed? The predicate is distributed. Correct? Okay. And in conversion, what happens in conversion? You can convert where everything is distributed or nothing is distributed. You asked that question before, you had that thing. So if everything is distributed, nothing is distributed, you can convert it. Meaning you swap the subject and predicate around. Yes? So you can do the E and you can do the I, and they can convert and become true. Sure. Once the premises is true, you convert it, it'll be fine. You can't convert an A, but you can say you can convert an A if you change the quantity to what? Some. Unless it's what? Tadakhul. If it's tadakhul, then it will convert, but that's coincidentally. You following? Everybody with me? In obversion, you can obvert what? An A to an E and an E to an A and an I to an O and an O to an I. What's obversion?
We switch.
When you switch the all to none, or some are to some are not, and then you make the predicate what? The predicate complement. That's called obversion. So for example, all boys, all students are boys. So we say no students are non-boys. Yes? The complement, subject complement. Okay? In contradiction, what happens? You have the X. The A and the E contradict, and the I and the AE, the A and the AEI, the A and the O contradict, and the E and the I contradict. Meaning what? One is true and one is false. Once that link exists between two of them, one is true, the other is false, the other is false, the one is going to be true. Are you following? Yeah. And a subaltern is that if the top one is true, then the knowledge flows downwards. That's if all Muslims are monotheists, automatically some Muslims are going to be monotheists, but it does not mean, this sum here means what? Some are. It does not mean some are not. It just means some are for sure. Yes? You get it? If everybody, for example, if you say, for example, oh, everybody passed in the class, then what do you know about yourself? How? You do subaltern. But you don't know this intuitively. You just know that common sense. Are you following? If everybody passed, then you know that, well, you've passed, you two have passed as well, because you're some of the class, so some have to pass. Yeah. It's obvious, but you don't mean it's just like codifying. And if none, then obviously some are not as well. And the contrary and subcontrary is when you have the kullis, the universals, they are contrary, and the subcontrary, the particulars are subcontrary. And what does contrary mean? Both can't be true, but both can be false. And the subcontrary, both can't be false, but both can be true. Got it? Okay, let's try one example here. So let's look at the statement here. Impurity. No, that's right. I'm double buzzing. I suppose that was right actually. Impure discharge breaks wuzu. Okay, Abu Hanifa rahmatullah alayhi. So let's take the premises. How do you translate this into a universal proposition? Huh? How do you translate this? So you say all. You say here all. And you can write here all impure. What? Bri. Why bri?
DT.
Pardon me?
If you're short, all IT.
What does D mean?
Discharge.
ID. I say all impure. And I write here B. Break wuzu, breakers of wudu. Yes? That's how you translate. So we know this is the fact. Now, what's the value? True or false? So is it true or is it false? Is it true according to Abu Hanifa? Not true according to other scholars. Yes? Okay. What is this mode? Is it wajib? Is it jaiz? Or is it mustahil? It's wajib, but what kind of wajib? Which aspect is it wajib? Aqlan or adatan or shar'an? From a Shari'i perspective, but from a Shari'i Hanafi perspective. So it's wajib, it's necessary. Yes, that in discharge will break wudu. From in this idea. Yeah, okay. Now, where would you put it? Where would you put this all? The A. So we say here. So what's the A value? The A is what? All impurities are B. Yes, all I B. Okay. And if you were to what's the negative of this? The E proposition of this? No impurities are breakers of wudu. And then what's the O proposition of this? Some I are not B. Some I are not B. And then what do we have? What's the I proposition of this one? Some I B. Yeah, so you have here some I are B. Okay. Now, can we converse an A? Can we converse an A? So okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, let me give a question to you. Therefore, sleeping does not break wudu. Forget the books of fiqh. Proof. I'm deducing from that information that sleeping does not break wudu. From that text above. If I say, according to Abu Hanifa, كل نجاسة تخرج إلى موضع يجب التطهير منه يجب التطهير. What happens? يجب التطهير في الغسل ينقض الوضوء. Because of this, I'm deducing from this fiqh text that sleeping does not break wudu. What's my error, huh? How?
From sleeping to impurity.
Yeah, so I'm saying is that the text says that all impurities break wudu. So therefore sleeping does not break wudu, according to Abu Hanifa.
We mentioned all impurities, but he never mentioned anything about sleeping or anything.
Yes, so if impurities break wudu, then sleeping doesn't break wudu.
But he's not mentioned
So
about
you're right, I'm wrong. But I want you to explain to me what's my mistake in my thinking.
you mentioned your O.
How make it all?
You're saying, no. It's not talking as the
But can I not deduce that? If, huh?
It's not the only thing that breaks wudu.
Yeah, so what am I doing? I'm converting an A. I'm converting an A to an A. Because if I'm saying that, therefore sleeping doesn't break wudu, what does that mean? I am deducing from this, so I am converting. So if I convert this, let's do a conversion. If I do a conversion, what am I saying?
A is A.
All
B is I.
all breakers of wudu are what?
I.
Impure things. And I've done that deduction. You can't do that. Okay, conversion. After conversion, what do you have? Obversion. What's the obversion of this? How do you obvert? So you say, no, what?
No.
No impure things are non-B. Nothing that's impure is something that does not break wudu. So any discharge. Yes? So that we know that for sure. So if this is the principle that's understood, we can say, well, my deduction that sleeping doesn't break wudu is wrong. Because I'm trying to say, well, all I is B's. I'm converting all B's and I, and that doesn't work. Yes? Okay. Okay, can I deduce and say urine will break wudu?
Yeah.
Hmm? How? On what? How?
If A is correct, then I is correct.
Aren't you supposed to put some?
In obversion, we go across the top. The top. No, obversion of top, you go across, you change the top. In contradiction, you have. Yes? You got it? Okay.
So you're saying, because if A is right, if all is right, then some has to be right.
Yeah, so by subaltern, we can deduce what? That some impurities are breakers of wudu. So therefore, blood is an impure break of wudu. But that's if you consider blood to be impure or not. Definition: is blood impure or not? So if blood is impure, it'll break wudu. If it's not impure, that's fake. I'm just trying to teach you the process of thinking. Now, if I want to prove that this masla is not true, what do I have to do? I have to bring all propositions. In the books of Hanafi fiqh, we have a scenario where there's even one case. If I bring one case to prove that that there's impurity which does not break wudu, then that A proposition can't hold fast. Because it can't be that these two can't be true. Yes, it's either all break or some do not break. Because that's contradictory. Yes? And what's the contrary of all I or B? So no I or B, the contrary of this, what's the contrary?
The A is I.
The contrary is what? No I is B. It can't be that both can't be true. It's possible that both are false. It's not false here, but it's possible, logically, that both are false. Both can't be true. Yes? You see? So this is, again, I can give you more examples. I want to give you simple examples, so it's not too... but you have to see then these things in other discussions, other debates, etc. Are you following? So when you have one proposition, okay, let's try another example let's try another example. Can you think of an O proposition in fiqh, or an I proposition?
Some salah haram. Some food is haram.
Okay, let's try some food is haram. Okay, let's get rid of this. And let's make our base proposition what? An I proposition. So we say here, our base proposition is what? This is our base proposition. What is it? Some food is haram. Okay. What can we do from this?
Some food. Oh, no.
Can we convert this?
Yes. Yeah, you can convert them haram.
Yes, we can say here, we can convert this and we can say what? Some haram things is food. That conversion is valid. If we know some food is haram,
Then it's not true.
that is not true. What's that mean?
So no food is haram.
No. This can't be true. If we know that some food is haram, you see, because we cannot say no food is haram.
So if no food is haram, it's false. That means
If no food is haram,
food is halal.
huh?
If no food is haram, it's false. So some food is halal. No, but
That's just inversing the eye.
no, but if no food is haram,
Mm-hmm.
then if that's false,
Then that means the O is true.
then some
The O is true. So which means what?
Some food is halal.
No, some food. Some food is haram. Is
not haram because that is not true.
hmm?
Is not true.
Yeah. This is not true. So we can't really deduce from this.
So that means the A is false.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The A. What's the A?
all food is haram.
All. Well, see, we can't go upwards. That's just
No,
Because
because
of
the
the
O.
eye.
No,
The O can.
Oh, stop, pause 1 minute here. So, we know this is not true, right? So let's cross this out here. So we know this is wrong, right? That's false, yes?
And the O and the A
Contradict.
But see, from I, what we doing? How are we getting to the O? How are we getting? Huh?
Subcontrary.
So, but what's the subcontrary?
You can't make it from some country.
Yeah. So, because what?
No, but we know the O is true because of the fact that E is false.
No. But see, that's not necessarily that. I don't know if that deduction is going to be correct from that one. Pause it there.
If no food is haram,
Yeah. So what we got from here is some food is haram, and some food is not haram. Both can't be false, can they?
No.
Both can be true, but one can be false.
Yeah, one can be false, but we know that one is not false.
Which is not false.
so we know 100% that I not false. We're important that they.
1 minute here. This is true, yes,
Yeah.
That's 100% true.
but we can't verify this is true.
You can't verify all.
We can't verify that O is true. Both can be true. We can't prove that O is true. So we can't say well, O is true, therefore A is true. We can't. This is true in this case, but the A. Remember, both can be true. Not both are true.
But
But-
what contradicts it is false. From the contradiction you can tell.
From the A.
No, I.
Yeah, we know that E is false. Yeah, so what we know for sure, when we know, for example, some things are halal, some foods haram. For example, haram alaykum al-khamr. From what we know that from that one statement, we know that some food is haram. So therefore, we can't say no food is haram. All food is not halal is not possible. But we can't. That's the only thing we can deduce certainty from that one piece of information. The others are basic. Then it can be in. You see, we have to remember. You have to be careful. We may get a right conclusion here, but the rule does not apply all the time. So even this some food is not haram is true. We can't deduce it with certainty in all cases.
Possibility that all A could be B.
That all A.
A, we know 100% A is not true as well. And it
How do we know
contradicts
A is not true?
Because it contradicts O.
But we
But the O is not proven. The O is not proven.
No, we only get.
The O can't be. O is not proven as yet.
Yeah, we never.
The O is possible.
You can prove it by doing the 8th step and then A is false.
Huh?
No.
And A knows contradictory.
Start again. What you're saying?
Mommy's being circular argument.
What you say? We see from the I, we just know for sure that it's possible for the O to be true, but we know for sure if it's true. You get what I'm saying? So we don't know this. This is not proven. This is still skeptical. This is possible. So we can't deduce the I. If we knew the O was true, then we know the A is true. The A is false. But we don't know the O is. We know, in fact, we know from this masala this is true. But generally speaking, we can't derive from an I that the O is true as well. Both can be true. It's possible. You get what I'm saying? We can't deduce that the O is wrong, but it's both are possible.
Coming up from the I to the E,
Can we go? Yeah, I to E.
and then inverse the E, so it's true.
Inverse the E.
So it's true.
Yeah. So how we can inverse the E? Can
No,
obverse the E?
so
Yeah.
no, just reverse it basically.
What? But that way, the contradictory of that is the I, isn't it? No? It is the I. The contradictory of that is the I. So from this I, so basically, and it's logical, isn't it? When you have small data, you can't make large statements. When you have an A and an E proposition, then you get what? You can get more. So let's do an E. Let's try E proposition here. Let's do E proposition. All no. We say here no. What's not? Let's do halal one. What's not halal at all?
No pigs are halal.
No.
Pigs are
No pigs, but then we cannot get really. No dead animals? No carrion. Okay. Carrion dead animals. So we see here. No ميت. كميتين يعني. حرم عليكم الميت والدم ولحم الخنزير. Okay, no, that's a blood. No blood. It's haram. It's halal to consume. But then you have them masfuh and all that kind of stuff.
Just go make it.
Yeah, no mayyit, no dead, no carrion is what? No carrion is halal. Yes? So because no carrion is halal, I mean no dead animals are halal, what do we learn from this?
The I is false.
The I has to be false. What's the I?
So some C is
So some carrion is halal, some dead, some mayyit, or some mayta, not mayyit, some mayta, some carrion is halal. That's false. That can't be true because once we know that the E is true, you can never. That's the opposite. What do you also know?
the O. So
The O is going to be what?
some C is not H.
We know for the fact from here that some C is also correct. Some carrion is not
It's C. It's H.
is not H.
Okay. H comes for
Halal isn't it? Not haram. Halal.
Okay. So then
And then from the E we can convert an E. We can convert an E to an E.
E. Don't cover the E because it is false.
E is true.
H tree.
Oh,
That's our
the
base
I,
statement.
the I is true.
We can convert that and say we can say no. When you convert, what do you do?
No. Old. No, because
Yeah, conversion is when you change the order, isn't it?
no.
No, but E
But
converts to I.
Huh?
You
Yeah, E converts to an I. No, that's a contradictory. What's conversion?
country.
Not contrary, conversion.
No, but because E and A are country. It means
No, let's
E
let's convert. What's conversion?
I don't know, but
So yeah, have you convert E to an E?
but if E is true, that means A has to be false.
We're not talking about the A. We're doing conversion first. Conversion. What's conversion mean? Pause it.
Is the E
Yeah, again, mix up. This is halal. Let's write the halal. Get confused. Halal and haram. Halal. Yes. Okay. So no carrot is halal. So that means no what? We convert convert this is what? No halal. No halal is carrion.
And also only one.
1 minute. 1 minute. And then
Based on country, only one of A and E is true.
only one of A and E is true. So the
No,
E is true. So the A is going to be false. What's the A?
Old C is halal.
1 minute here. It's not coming at the bottom. Can't get my. Where is it gone? Okay. So all carrion is halal. That's going to be false. Why? Because the E is true, and the E, both E and the A can't be true. Yes? Why is it not coming up my pen? Yes? And we can also, so we've done the conversion. We've done conversion. So conversion, from there we learn. We've also done the contradiction. From contradiction we learn that this is going to be false. This is the contrary. We learned the contrary. And obversion, what's the obversion of that one? All. When you make all, you make the no into all. When we say all carrion,
Is haram.
all carrion is non-halal. All carrion is non-halal. You see? So that's what I'm trying to say. We have one proposition. If that is true, then from that, what other information can be derived with certainty? So there's some examples here. And logically, if we have a statement about the universal, we get more information. Because if you know a lot of data, you can bring it. Now, if you're small, you can't really apply that to a lot. It's common sense, isn't it? If you know about one student in class, you can't apply that to everybody. If you know about everybody in class, then you can apply that to everybody. It makes more sense. No? You following? Yes? So that's the summary. So direct inference is what? So first thing we have to do, we have to get the terms right. Make sure you know what you're talking about. Define it correctly. Then you can do direct inferences. Direct inferences, what number one is? Number one is conversion. What's conversion mean? You just swap them around. And that only works in the E and the I. Then after that we have obversion. What's obversion mean? You make the E into an E, A into an E, and the I into an O. But what do? You make the predicate complement. That's obversion. Then we have the square of opposition. We have contradiction. What's contradiction mean? One is true, the other is false. The other is false, the other is going to be true. Yes? And then in contrary is what? Only one can be true, but both can be false. That is in the two top ones. And the two bottom ones. No, bottom one is called subcontrary. Both can be true, but both can't be false. Correct? And then we have alternate, where you come downwards. So contradictory, then subaltern, contrary, subcontrary. And contrary, subcontrary is also what? Can also be obversion with the subject predicate complement. Following? So this is our end of our direct inferences. So when you have one piece of data, so for example in the Quran you have like a general rule. Allahu bi kulli shay'in alim. Allah knows everything. So now that's a general rule. So therefore, everything has to, it can't be, any some things. So from there, you can some things Allah knows about this. Yes? You following? I don't get to controversial masail. You can get, it comes up a lot of these kind of different masail. I don't get too controversial. The simple masail, simple examples, even the stupid examples we can use is to understand the concepts. You following? So this is how you can deduce sure information, sure knowledge from if you have one true premise using this square opposition, you can come to know these other things for certain. Yes? Okay. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.